So our first guest, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our first guest. He's going to talk about diabetes and hypertension. We also have that type of screening outside, and that's going to be Dr. Cawley. He's a magna cum laude graduate of Sherman College of Chiropractic, right? He has been in private practice and is in New Jersey, so he's right down the road. He's also certified in electrodiagnosis, sports injuries, and physical fitness. So if he's still around while we're playing basketball, I guess he can help us out. Right? He utilizes nutrition and exercise in his practice and is a national track champion in the mile and the 800 meters in the 50 to 54 age group. So I will give you Dr. Cawley right now. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me back. I had the pleasure of speaking to your group last year. So yeah, I mean, as far as the topic on hypertension and diabetes, I think it's very relevant to today's the health problems of today. We're talking about the biggest causes of death in the United States, and heart disease is number one, cancer. Well, the two topics I'm going to speak out today, the hypertension and diabetes, are very large contributors to heart disease. The first one we're going to talk about is hypertension, but actually both are contribute. So what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is created by the heart as it pumps blood through the arteries and the circulatory system. And what do the numbers mean? The top number, the systolic, and the pressure while the heart is beating, and the bottom number, diastolic, while the heart is resting between beats. So what is normal? Basically anything less than 140/90. Pressure 130 in the 130s and 85/89 should be closely watched. That's considered borderline. It's a little controversial. Some people feel that that numbers even lower than that should be watched more closely, because the thing about blood pressure is, of course, it varies a great deal throughout the day, depending on your stress level and what you're eating and drinking. Outside, we're doing the blood pressure screens, and one of the devices there is the automatic blood pressure check machine, and it's actually very useful. If you have any issues with with borderline numbers, I highly recommend that you get one and just take it throughout. Take it in the morning, first thing. Take it later day, different times of day if you can. And these machines are pretty sophisticated now. They remember all the readings. A lot of them interface with the computer via USB, and it can just plot it all out for you and give you a lot of useful information. And it gives you some feedback as far as your diet and exercise program. How can I tell if I have high blood pressure? Usually there's no symptoms, which is why it's called a silent killer. You may have headaches, blurry vision, chest pain, frequent urination at night, but certainly not everybody gets those symptoms, and sometimes you may get those later in the process. Blood pressure measurement, like I mentioned, a sphygmomanometer, and virtually everybody here, I'm sure, has had their blood pressure taken many times. And if you're taking it manually, after you pump it up and then you release the pressure, and the first sound you hear is the systolic pressure, and the second sentence, the diastolic pressure is from the last part sound heard. And you have different cuff sizes we were talking about that earlier. You want to get to one that fits your size, and if you're going to take it for other people, you might have to get multiple cuff sizes. So optimal, 120 to 80 or lower. I mean, certainly athletes have a much lower blood pressure and pulse rates, and that's perfectly normal. And it tends to creep up over time with age. So you might want to adjust that interpretation slightly depending on your age. But the official recommendations, if your blood pressure is really good, you can recheck it in a couple of years. I mean, personally, I think blood pressure is so easy to check. You should probably be checking it more often than that, because it can change quickly. It doesn't take much of a change in lifestyle for it to change quickly. You gain 5–10 pounds, you'd be surprised. And that's not a lot of weight, and it can change. It'll change just not based on that, or you get a new boss or something, or it'll change quick. All right, stage 1 hypertension, mild, 140/59 to 90/99. This is very common that people will get readings like this. Although, the other thing too is don't get overly excited if you get a reading like this, because, sometimes You take it a different time, you take it in a different position, or a different person takes, or a different method of taking it, and all of a sudden it's normal. So, you know, just like any other kind of you know, laboratory or physical assessment, you know, you just don't get overly concerned about it for, you know, one reading. That's why I like the automatic one where you check it over time, because you'll see big differences if you take it frequently. Okay, stage 2, moderate hypertension, definitely evaluated back within a month. Stage 3, 180 or higher, over 110 or higher, evaluated immediately. That's severe, and this potentially can cause, you know, immediate medical problems like strokes quickly. So, what causes high blood pressure? In majority of cases, in primary hypertension, it's unknown. Secondary hypertension is a small percentage of the cases. You find kidney abnormalities, narrowing of arteries, rare tumors, adrenal gland abnormalities, pregnancy. So the primary, basically the primary, it says unknown, but it's actually a combination of different things. And it's usually lifestyle issues. And that's what we're basically here to talk about. So controllable risk factors, increased salt intake, obesity, alcohol, stress, lack of exercise. Pretty much, you know, the American lifestyle. So, what causes high blood pressure? Uncontrollable risk factors: heredity, age, men between 35 and 50, women after menopause. There's genetic factors relative to race, 1 out of every 3 African Americans, and also higher incidence in non-Hispanic blacks and Mexican Americans. Women have issues as well: birth control pills, pregnancy, weight, postmenopausal, African Americans. How does it develop? Certain nerve impulses cause arteries to become larger or smaller. If vessels are wide open, blood flows easily. If they narrow, blood pressure inside increases, causing hypertension. And what is high blood pressure? What does high blood pressure do to the body? It can cause stroke, lead to congestive heart failure, kidney failure, heart attacks, heart rhythm problems, aneurysms. And what can you do about it? High blood pressure is a lifelong disease. Blood pressure can be controlled, not cured. Well, that depends. I mean, you know, it depends on how, you know, whether you're mild or severe. I mean, certainly if you have a severe problem chronically, that may be true. The issue is if you've never had high blood pressure and you have, say, mild high blood pressure, and you make a really significant change in your lifestyle, you know, you change your body mass index, change your stress level, you very well may you know, completely get over high blood pressure. But the biggest issue, the biggest thing I would point I would make is that, you know, I see people frequently that have all good intentions of changing things and getting on the, you know, a diet and exercise program, and very frequently, you know, people intend to do the right thing and it just doesn't happen quickly enough. And with high blood pressure, you know, the bad things can happen very quickly. So the best thing to do is to get evaluated and start some treatment and stick to the treatment until your levels become normal. Once your levels become normal, then you can really continue to focus on your lifestyle issues and diet and exercise and try to get a more lasting change, and perhaps, you know, get yourself, work with your doctor, get yourself off medications if that's the way you'd like to go. But it's very difficult to, you know, to cure chronic hypertension. Controlling blood pressure will reduce the risk of stroke, heart attack, heart failure, and kidney disease. What can I do? Lose weight if you're overweight. Get regular physical activity. Avoid excessive alcohol. Stop smoking. Manage your stress. All those things sound very easy. In practice, they're very hard to do. But you know, even small changes add up. Surprising. I mean, you know, I talked about the 5 or 10 pound weight gain. The 5 or 10 pound weight loss, a lot of times you may see a 10-point drop in your blood pressure just doing that alone. And you know, that's not all that hard to do because if you think about, you know, and I know someone's going to talk about nutrition later, so I'm not going to go extensively into that. But if you just either consume a few hundred calories less per day, or increase your activity so you're more active and you burn a few hundred calories more per day, you know, you're going to lose 500 calories a day, you're going to lose a pound a week. So it actually happens very easily. So that may just come down to a couple of choices you make throughout the day. You don't drink a certain beverage, or you don't have a snack, and that's it. And that's maybe the only thing you change. And over the course of a week, you'll lose a pound. And if you continue to do that, you're persistent, you can make big changes with your weight. As far as physical activity goes, you know, some people are very, very busy, and that's the issue. You know, so you have to be creative sometimes, and you know, if you don't have necessarily an exercise period that you can do, like where you go to a gym and work out for 2 hours, then you know, maybe when you come to say an event like this, or you go to you know, a shopping mall, you park as far away as you can and you walk it in. You know, just look for every little opportunity to exercise. I think it's good to have equipment in your house that you can, you know, if you only have 10 minutes and you're going to watch TV, jump on the bike and pedal the bike while you're watching TV, or you know, look for little ways to bump up your exercise. Excess alcohol consumption, I mean, that's easy to cut down on. Smoking, not so easy, but you know, it's a huge risk factor, and I think you know that even if you're doing everything else right, if you're still a smoker, you have a major problem there, and that really has to go. And then stress management. Again, you know, if you don't manage your stress, you know, it's really going to get the best of you, and you know, you could be doing all these other things, and that can still lead to major problems. Salt intake, that's a matter of educating yourself, and it's just a matter of reading labels, actually. I mean, I think it's a lot of, you know, whenever I talk about salt with people, they always say, I don't put salt in my food. It's like, yes, but you know, that piece of bread you just ate is loaded with salt, you know, or many things that we eat, processed foods are loaded with salt. Restaurant food, forget it, it's off the scale. So, you know, it's not easy, but you know, you can definitely lower it. Eat for heart health. That's fruits and vegetables, healthy foods. You know, that's just a matter of avoiding fast foods and getting on track with that. Medications, contraceptives, lots of different medications can affect blood pressure. Okay, the 10 commandments for blood pressure control. Know your pressure, have it checked regularly, or do it yourself. Know what your weight should be, keep it at that level or below. You know, as far as that's concerned, I mean, you know, I think that, you know, you see different, there's a little controversy with that, you can see different charts, you know, and so forth. And, I think it's just good to, you know, that you can calculate your body mass index, how much fat versus muscle, that kind of thing. But I think a simple measurement most of us guys can really relate to is our waist. That doesn't lie, generally. So, you know, also, you know, what was your weight when you were younger? Did you gain weight throughout your life? Because most people do gradually creep up. So, you know, what was your weight in high school, for example? You know, that's a good gauge to, you know, a good goal to shoot for. Don't use excessive salt in cooking and meals. Avoid salty foods. Eat a low-fat diet. Don't smoke or use tobacco products. Take your medicine exactly as prescribed. Don't run out of pills even for a single day. That's good advice. All right. Keep your appointments with your doctor. You know, I certainly see a lot of people that, you know, blood pressure medications oftentimes have side effects, sometimes significant side effects, and people don't like them, and they will stop them. They will, you know, go off periodically, and it's really not wise. I mean, you should just work with your doctor and try to find the right combination of medications that you know, that you can live with. And follow your doctor's advice about exercise. Not too much, not too little. I mean, this whole thing about, you know, you have to exercise in an age-appropriate, or I should say fitness-appropriate manner, age and fitness. I can certainly relate to not exercising when you're 50, not exercising like you're 20. It's very tempting, and you know, of course, everybody's going to forget. And as far as a reminder, your body will remind you. It's just not necessarily immediately. Maybe a day or two later, it reminds you. But you know, sometimes you have to rein in your enthusiasm, and sometimes you need a kick in the butt. I mean, it works both ways. All right. Make certain family members have your blood pressure checked regularly. Live a normal life in every other way. Okay, medications. There's diuretics can revive excess fluids and salt. Beta blockers reduce the heart rate and work off the heart. And calcium antagonists reduce the heart rate and relax blood vessels. There's angiotensin II receptor blockers. So as far as the medications go, you know, most of the time very often people need a combination of medications, so you really do have to stick, in order to get to that point, you really have to work with somebody regularly to, you know, to find what works for you.